What's up, fellow Walking Dead fans? This is Solid Dave Snake, continuing my reviews on The Walking Dead TV Series 7 action figures by Mcfarlane Toys. And in this review, we're going to go over Carl Grimes. And this is the second version of Carl Grimes we've gotten in action figure form, based off the TV show. His previous action figure was in TV Series 4, and featured him how he was based off of Season 3, where this Carl Grimes is based off how he looked in the back half of Season 4, after the prison story arc, starting off with the episode after, and even includes a lot of accessories that he had in that episode. And I'm not going to compare the two Carls in this video. I'm going to do a second action figure comparison video of those two Carls. So we'll just be going over this one, and we'll kick it off with his accessories. He comes with a candle, just like all the other figures in this series, minus the Mud Walker. And let me get a focus in here, and I'll give you a good view of it. It's got a white candle up top with a melted look, like it had been burning. And then a really neat long base for it. But be very careful with this accessory if you get it, because it really looks thin and like it could break easy. But a very detailed candle. And the neatest accessory he comes with this go around is this can of chocolate pudding. Which, if you remember in that episode after, whenever he got attacked by the zombie, after he had escaped it, he was eating this chocolate pudding on the roof of that house. And it has some great detail. Like they have a little content label back here with all that little writing. Just like Michonne's can of cheese. Really nice detailing. And even inside of the can, looks like chocolate pudding. And on the underside of the lid, nice detail on the outside of the lid, looking just like the top of a can. And they even did that same detail on the bottom. So really neat accessory. And if you have comic book Michonne, she came with a spoon, so you could have him pose like he's eating his chocolate pudding on the roof. And his left hand is actually tight enough to be able to hold a spoon as well. And he also comes with a really neat flashlight. And there's nice detail on it. Even the end of it's painted a little yellow. Black grip with little silver paint tones in there where it should be. So, we have yet to get a figure with a flashlight, so that's pretty neat. And let me grab Carl here and slap his hat back on from the fall he took. And I'll let you see how he looks with the hat on. The sheriff's hat. And then I'll take it off and give you an up-close look at it too. And it is not the same hat from the Series 3. It is different. It is a little smaller, even though that's funny because this figure is taller overall, but it's the way it fits on his head. And this one has a little notch on the left-hand side from some wear and tear from being wore over the years. Of course, is missing the sheriff's badge up here. Still has the tassel around it though. And this end of the hat actually looks like it's folded up more than this side. And the hat overall just has a little bit more of a weathered look to it. So, must-have accessory for Carl, and I think he comes with some good ones this go around. Of course, he does not come with any guns, just like the previous Carl. And there is something in there with the rights of the child actor where they're not allowed to do that. Because the comic book version of Carl is going to come with a gun. So it's not just being a kid in general, but that it's actually based off of a child actor is the reasoning. And I am really happy with this Carl. Just having him up close here, you can see the detail is a lot better this go around. Looks a lot more like Chandler Riggs. They really did a great job with the longer hair that he has now. The sculpt all through there is really nice. So I think you can definitely make out that that's Chandler Riggs a little more this go around. And his shirt is detailed amazingly. I even think he still has his Science Dog shirt underneath of this button-up one. It looks a little bit like it with the way the collar is. Of course, it's long sleeves, which I like those on some of these figures because it hides that articulation point down there real nice on the wrist. Once again, Mcfarlane does a bang-up job with the folds and wrinkles throughout the fabric of the shirt. You can even see the stitching work up here. And you can make out the little bit of pattern of the shirt here too. Although it's made to look really faded. And you can even make out his belt buckle down there underneath the shirt. And he just has some regular old blue jeans on, but once again, nice coloring and sculpting with the wrinkles. And the neatest thing about his costume in this, if you remember in that episode after, he lost one of his boots. That zombie took it off. The boot like this, so he found another sneaker to put on. So I think that's really neat with this action figure that he's got one boot and one sneaker. Definitely gives him a different look. And articulation-wise, he is better than the previous Carl, but he is still limited in a lot of aspects. His articulation's not great, but it's not bad. And he has a ball joint at the head, which will allow him to rotate all the way around, but it's a little tough with that hair. You kind of have to have his head leaning forward to get that full rotation. And he will look that far down and this far up. He has a ball joint and hinge at the shoulders, which will go up that far and rotate all the way around. Single hinged elbows, which only goes that far up, not far up at all, but it will go all the way straight. And he has that hinge and peg here at the wrist, which will rotate all the way around. And you can see it's hidden in there nicely, and be mindful of where the hinge is. You don't ever want to push against those hinges or your wrist snapping off the hand, but you can move it that far down and back straight with the hinge, not past the collar of the shirt though. And he does have a cut at the waist, although you can only get minor movement out of it. And he does have the updated leg articulation, which goes really high up. So you can get him in some good sitting positions. You can get him far enough, which is great. And of course he has the hinge there too. And single jointed knees, which you can get up to about 90 degrees. That's pretty good. And hyperextended. And of course rotate all the way around. And one thing that I was upset about, and I don't know if it has any reason to do with the different shoes, but he has no articulation below the knee, so you cannot get any kind of foot movement out of him whatsoever. But all in all, I think this is a really good Carl, and with him and Michonne in the Series 8 Rick coming out, you can have all those three characters as how they were in that back half of Season 4, which I'm looking forward to having that. So, alright guys, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for my comparison videos of the two Carls and the two Michonnes, and I believe I will start putting those up tomorrow, so I'll catch you then.